Welcome to Club Wisdom 8. Let's talk about gear. Okay, so gear is what you put on all of your units, and you're going to come across times when you will pull different legendary gear at certain times, and you will also have an item ticket. So what gear are you going to be using? Let's get to it. So it begins with sword gear, and we're going to be looking at weapons for today. So with regard to weapons and swords, you need to think, what unit do you need to use the sword on? Well, generally you have like Baron, you have Aaron, you have Xian the werewolf, and most important one from the ranking, I believe from my memory, would be Kriemhild. As there's no one else I can remember, I'm going to leave everyone else out for now. Now, Kriemhild is a tank, and once awakened is very powerful. So what kind of sword would you be putting on Kriemhild? Again, I'm not impressed with the swords, because I'm not impressed with the swordsman. But I would say this one, what's it called? I like the name, I forgot. What is it? The Gram. I would say this one. It deals 150% damage to the enemy and stuns them. The point being, it stuns them. And it stuns them for 3 seconds. And it has... And I like the cooldown, I guess. Well, 3 seconds cooldown, 15. It could be nicer. It could have been a nicer cooldown, but hey. What else could you do? Well, you could go for crit, but I wouldn't put crit rate on... Kriemhild, but maybe Xian. It's difficult. Yeah, again, it's difficult. Maybe Baron. Yeah, I have to look into that. But generally speaking, another person for crit rate, I guess, would be Arrel. The cavalry unit, the elf one. I mean, I believe any type of crit rate would be very beneficial. So, I think second is a third. Where's the crit rate? This one. So edge katana. But again, you might. So again, in crit rate plus 10%. I mean, you might need other items to upgrade the crit rate as well. So, and I haven't really gone into Arrow. So think about it anyway. There's also the arena one, which upgrades your physical attack. I don't want to go into it anymore because I'm just not happy with the swords units. But the spear units, they're something completely different. Spear units are like Mercedes, Liane. I think Anna's also one, but depends if you want to. Yeah, a lot of people use Amazon units, so a lot of people might be relying on Anna. I'm sure she's a swordsman. So, who are you going to be using these on? Well, for me, I'm thinking about who am I going to use. What am I going to use on Mercedes? At the moment, I'm using a Vadra, but I don't feel the crit rate is making such a big difference, because I put it to level 15. Because getting to level 20 is going to take. It uses so many scrolls and costs so much. So 10% I don't feel is so great, because I don't feel my other gear is supporting crit. So what can one do? What I'm looking at is, at the moment I'm looking at this one. This is called the Achilles Spear. Reduces the physical attack of the enemy, and it starts with 10%. And it lasts 10 seconds with just a 15-second cooldown. So so you could say every 35 seconds it's ready again. It starts for 10 seconds, 15-second cooldown. Every 35 seconds begins. why is that going to be important? And well, I think for me, one important aspect of this is that it's quite good because in one respect it's relatively good at level 1 at +0. Like, you don't really need to do much with it. I don't believe 10 to 15% is such a is really like worth spending so much cash on to get it. So I think for a beginner this is a brilliant weapon actually. So take that into consideration if you have a Mercedes. Next, a weapon I really like, yeah, of course I like Vajra of crit rate, but I believe is it this one? Is it the Pike? Increases all damage by 5% for 10 seconds. No, it's the next one. It's Giant Spear. Enlarges you and increases your HP by 10%, but actually at level 15 it doubles it, so it takes it to 20%, and the cooldown's 15 seconds, so every 45 seconds you're going to have this increased HP. Now, if you can time it correctly, theoretically, with the time that Mercedes procs her ultimate, this might be the lifesaver for Mercedes. So Giant Spear is what I'm going to be testing out in the future. Just letting you know, I think this could be the answer that I need. But then again, is 20% HP the answer? Is 20% really enough for Mercedes? Or for anyone? And then the rest have their own little things, but generally it's just crit or physical attack. I think in general, it depends I guess, but maybe if you have other crit rate items like rings and necklaces, definitely crit rate, but if you don't have them, then I'm not so sure. I might even go for physical attack. But again, reducing the enemy's physical attack might be the way forward. Hard choice. And you have your Arena Spear. Again, increases physical attack by 5%, but only in the arena. I think still got to get these. Bows, bow and arrow units. So you've got your Kirks, you've got Lena. There's a lot of bow and arrow units that are needed, and generally speaking, you should have some kind of tank to protect them. So if you are being protected by a tank, what's the best you can do to combine your efforts? I would say if you have crit gear, number 3 isn't it? Nope. Where's the, isn't there not one for crit? This one, so Serranus. If you have crit gear, then again I think crit rate will be very important on these guys. But personally I like this Thunderbolt. It doesn't just deal 150% damage to the enemy, it electrocutes them, and for 3 seconds. That tells me that it's a stun. I have 2 of these. I haven't really noticed the stun, but there's one thing, at level 15 the damage is, the change is not very much, and the time hasn't changed. But if you can take it to level 20, I would say this one could be this could be the top weapon. So a Thunderbow is on my mind, but between level 1 to 15, not the biggest. I don't think the difference is so great. But normally a level 20 items are not so different to level 15, so the Thunderbow is really important for me. Now another weapon is, no, not all damage increase. Enlarges you, no, you don't need that, because once you've enlarged, once they hit you, you're going to die whether you're enlarged or not. Where is it? I wanted the one that reduces physical, yeah, enemy's physical defense, the Pinaka. I think this one, so at level 15, lowers enemy's physical defense by 15%. I believe level 20, not not so important, but level 15, the Pinnaker. Again, I think this could be really important. So you have this on, and then maybe you have a Mercedes, you have a Leanne, and then they're being crushed. The enemies should be crushed. So between the Thunderbolt, Thunderbow, and the Pinnaker, I mean, they will be my top ones unless you have crit items, but you won't have enough for every unit, so I think these two bows are going to be my tops. Next up we have staffs. Generally speaking, your mages can't really do much, I mean, in terms of fighting very much, but the Amazon magicians can do quite a lot, so perhaps, yeah, you can have something that raises their magical attack, perhaps. But for me, I like this. The Sage's Staff. It will reduce the magical defense, and it only goes to 15, but I don't like that it's only a 2.5% increase for level 20, but I think for level 15 this is quite nice. So you have loads of Sage Staffs and you have a load of units on level 15. I think this can cause a lot of trouble. So those are my weapons, and I wish everyone the best with finding the weapons and pulling weapons and trying to use item tickets. Okay, do well. Club Wisdom 8 over and out.